You are now listening to Random Ramblings with Rob.
Yay.
Yay!
If you like hanging out at Walmart, if you like hanging out in the aisles, if you like talking random stuff, Random Ramblings with Rob. Random Ramblings with Rob. Yo, yo. Random Ramblings with Rob. Walmart talking, we're random Roblings with Rob. Rob.
What up, everybody? This is your boy B-Rob, and I'm back with another edition of the Random Rounds with Rob podcast. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you, the listener, for coming back each and every week, or however you listen to podcasts. If you're a first-time listener, I appreciate you very much for giving my show a try. And if anybody referred you to me, give them a crisp high five if you're in their vicinity, or you can send it virtually via Snapchat, Instagram, or whatever method that you deem worthy enough to send a crisp high five. I have another guest with me this episode, and he is one half of a group that I'm actually recording right now because, I had his cohort, his homeboy on here before him. And, I didn't get none of that shit. I'm just like, I'm reliving it right now. It's just like, look, I'm going to tell you how I felt in the moment. I mean, I got dude on, we had the little pre-talk beforehand, and then, we had a conversation. It was cool. He was telling me all his innermost feelings and everything, and how he made his triumphant venture into comedy and leaving from his home, going to another place to pursue his dream even further. And then when we hung up the call, I was like, man, that was great. And then I looked at my shit and I have no wave formats on my damn screen. I didn't have no files in my backup joint. And I was just sitting there like, fuck. And I was just like, I didn't want to call this dude back and tell him that I ain't got shit. So I sent him an email and I apologized every other line. And then I got on social media the next day when I went to Walmart like I normally do, and I apologized on Instagram. Then I got on Twitter and I followed his account and I apologized on Twitter. And then I told my wife about it and I sobbed in her lap and I apologized again, just in my head again. And yeah, that's how I felt. But unfortunately,
that's a lot of apologizing.
Yeah. I get real sensitive about my shit. But I have an actual recording with this homeboy, half of Chalknilla Entertainment, comedian extraordinaire, Jamie Gravy. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I really appreciate you having me on. And I'm telling you right now, Stacy is not even worthy of all those apologies.
Well, shit, I take them back then.
Yeah, all of them. I'll take a couple back for you.
All right, cool. Yeah, fuck that dude. Yeah, I meant to not record it. I just wanted Jamie. I don't mean that at all.
You can't say it's all about the Nilla though, so I can't even say that.
Yeah, I didn't mean that at all. I'm sorry.
No, to hell with them.
Yeah. To hell with them. Yeah, but hey, man, this is about you. I done got all that apologizing out the way, and I'm going to apologize for you for apologizing to somebody else that wasn't even on the show technically. So,
you ever talk to somebody and they're just like, you ever hear somebody get in trouble for saying sorry too much? Like, you say sorry too much. Quit saying that. So, all right, sorry.
Son of a bitch. Get to fighting and shit.
All right.
Yeah, but how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing well, man. It's good to be able to talk to you. It's good. I'm glad to be on. So thanks so much for having me. We're over here. I'm on East Coast time, and man, it is cold. I'm not saying it's not cold in Texas, but man, as a Texan, as a native Texan, I'm not used to this New York weather.
Yeah, I mean, you've been there for a little bit. I mean, how was the adjustment for you?
The adjustment wasn't too bad. I've been here about 4 months now. It wasn't bad at first because it was hot when I got here. They had like a record-breaking heat of summer. When I got here, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. You know, it's the year I moved is the year that New York has like a record heat.
Yeah.
But so that felt, like I was kind of used to that. But man, my birthday was in November, just about a month ago.
Happy birthday.
And it snowed. Well, thank you so much. But I say that to say that it never has snowed before my birthday in my life, and I had snow the day before my birthday, and that tripped me out. I've never seen it that soon. To have it in November, and it was a lot. So that was a little strange.
Yeah, I went back through your account and everything, and I seen that you had the road trip, posted on your Instagram story and everything. I mean, how was that trip? How many hours was that?
Oh yeah, the road trip coming up here. We took a longer route. My brother accompanied me on a little cross the country road trip, because I had to bring my car up here to New York. We decided to make the most out of it. You know what I mean? How many times do you drive across country? So
a lot.
Right? Oh, have you?
I have.
Really? That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, I'm from a traveling family, and I'd never really gotten a plane until like I joined the military and shit. I mean, I went twice as a kid. I think I went to my sister's house in California, but it was only the trip there, and we drove back to Louisiana. So,
oh damn,
yeah. So I done drove the 2-day journey through El Paso, because like most of that side of Texas is El Paso,
right?
And then
it's pretty much El Paso. If you're going west, you're going to El Paso, Mexico, or California.
Exactly. And I've made that drive many times. So I went 2 summers to stay out there. So we drove back 2 times. Then I went to boot camp on the West Coast. So my parents drove out there to see me graduate. Then they drove my ass back to Louisiana for my leave.
Oh man.
And then I've drove from Louisiana all the way. I think the highest I've ever been up is Kentucky. I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I've been to where else? I drove to Washington from North Carolina when I was stationed in North Carolina. So I think, yeah. So that's the highest up I've been up on the east side.
Okay. And that drive's really not too terrible. I mean, that's about a 6-hour drive from Carolina to Washington.
Yeah. It ain't too bad. I ate that up. I compared to what I was
used
to.
Texas driving right there. That's like driving from, that's like going from,
North
Dallas
Houston to South Houston.
Yeah, to San Antonio or something.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Ours wound up being 30 total hours, but again, we kind of went a long way. We decided to go down into New Orleans, and then we went up to Atlanta, stopped at Myrtle Beach, then D.C., and then finally New York City. So we took our time kind of getting up so we could kind of see some things we hadn't seen before, and it was awesome. And then my brother, he drove up with me to enjoy the trip, and then he flew down back home, so he only went up one way.
Yeah, lucky bastard.
Right, yeah, it was cool. Of course, I didn't mind. I was like, I need someone to go with me. I wanted to drive up there alone, you know what I mean? So I got him to tag along, and we had a great time. Yeah,
because I can tell you, I remember being single and being in the military and driving from Jacksonville, North Carolina to Lake Charles, Louisiana. That's like 18 hours. And to do that shit by yourself, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, man. I could imagine. That's got to be brutal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you start getting delusional and shit and seeing things in the road that ain't really there, that you hope ain't really there.
Right.
I thought I saw.
You're like, damn, who roofied my drink?
Yeah, I thought I saw an alligator going across the street, and then I wasn't even nowhere close to the south, so I knew I was fucking around and tripping.
Yeah.
But
what the hell is happening?
I remember one time, and this is how much of a pro I am. I made that trip so many times from North Carolina to Lake Charles to go visit that I was coming back through Atlanta, and there's the turnoff to where you go from I-20 to I-95 north. So I've drove this many a times, day, night. It doesn't matter. I drove it so much that I remember this one specific time. I don't know how the fuck I did it, but I did it. I came up to the sign. I was going on I-20, and it said I-95 exchange, X amount of miles. So that was the last thing I remember. And then I wake up on I-95 north. So
woke up.
I woke up driving I-95 north. So I don't even remember from the sign, the however many miles to the turnoff to go north, but I got there.
Damn, that is scary.
Hell yeah, especially when you just like, oh shit.
Yo, right. The good thing it wasn't like morning or something like that. That'd have been crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, did you make any stops? Did you do like a comedy tour along the way?
Didn't do any comedy stops. It was more of just kind of a trip. Didn't set up anything along the way. Just kind of took some time off. Again, just to enjoy it. Again, me and my brother kind of went up there together and we just hung out, saw some sights. So we took 5 days to come up. So again, we stopped and we made 5 stops. Well, really, I guess 4 for a night. We spent a night in New Orleans, another one in Atlanta, and then Myrtle Beach in D.C. So we did 4 stops.
Which you described as a fart. New Orleans or something like that. Well, you described New Orleans as like a fart or something, right?
That's how it smells everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, if you're from New Orleans, I don't mean to offend you, but in the city, it smells like a fart. Now, I understand, though, why they call it the Big Easy. I never understood why they called it the Big Easy. But, man, it's because the living is fucking easy. I mean, I'm talking about their rules, not even strict at all. I mean, it's, in Texas, for instance, obviously, like, drinking laws are pretty strict, like, you can't even, like, leave a place, with obviously any alcohol. You can't even come into most places, even if you have, like, a bottle of water or coffee, right?
Yeah.
We're just walking the streets with daiquiris in our hands, and then we go into a restaurant, and we're like, we got to finish these first. They're like, no, you can bring them in, and so we're just drinking another place's daiquiris at this new table we got, and then before we leave, they're like, y'all want any dessert or maybe a daiquiri to go? I was like, you say a daiquiri to go? Hell yes. Pour me up one of those.
That's what I enjoyed about Louisiana in general, because, I mean, it's pretty much like that statewide. I can walk into a Walmart and get a fifth of gin or a Crown Royal. Hell, I remember going into a Walgreens and getting me some drink. So
crazy.
And then it's 24 hours. They sell it all day on Sunday. They don't even really care. And then the way to get around open container laws, if you go to a daiquiri shop, they put tape over the freaking straw hole.
Crazy.
So yeah, we had drive-through liquor stores, so that's fun.
Yeah, the drive-through stores, that was insane too. That's pretty crazy. I mean, I feel like it's just Texas is pretty strict on alcohol, because I know in New Mexico and Arizona, I mean, you can go grab liquor inside a convenience store or Walmart. Now, that's not quite like that up here in New York, but the bars stay open hella late. I mean, so you can order something to drink at like 3, 4 a.m. at some bars.
Yeah. What kind of perplexed me, being older and coming cognizant of, rules and, different situations and everything. Any gas station in, where I was from has a damn near full blown liquor store in the gas station, or either that or some kind of eatery. So you have a combination of the two in there. And I'm just like, wouldn't this be advocating drinking and driving? I mean, you got the shit in a gas station.
Yeah, exactly. I think about that too. It's crazy because, I mean, it's just literally getting gas, and you're like, you might as well take some whiskey. Like, what?
Yeah, it's smooth. It's Tennessee whiskey. But comedy, sir. When
comedy? When
did the bug bite you? When did it become a thing that you looked at it and was like, I could do this, or I want to do this?
I would say that bug got me. That got me probably in my teens sometime. Like, I want to say maybe anywhere from like 13 to 15, somewhere in that range. I started really liking it. I started watching it a lot. I mean, I loved comedy from a kid, since I was a kid, but stand up specifically rather than movies, I started watching a lot in my early teens. And then in high school, I was like, you know what? I think I could do comedy. Like that seems like something I want to try. Tried it fresh out of high school. Did it. I went to 2 open mics, 2 weeks in a row. And then I didn't do it again for like 7 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. Weirdest thing in the world. But I'll never forget my first open mic. I mean, those first 2 that I did, they were awesome. They actually went really, really well. And, I don't know. I was just probably in a different spot in my life, maturity-wise. I was trying to go to college, and I just was like, I don't know. It's a far-fetched dream, yada, yada. And then one day I was just like, found myself in my late 20s kind of being like, well, what the hell else are you doing with your life? I was just waiting tables. So I was like, might as well be waiting tables and doing comedy if this is the case, you know?
Yeah.
So I've been doing it now for actually 3 years today, full on.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's crazy. I can't believe it's actually gone by super fast.
And I think that's the thing with anything, because like next month on the 13th will be my 3-year anniversary of podcasting.
Oh man, congrats! That's awesome.
Thank you, appreciate it. I say
Absolutely.
You're much nicer than Stacy.
Oh yeah, Stacy's a dick. I told you. You don't need to apologize to that guy. He's an asshole. No, I'm just kidding. He's my dude. He's my dude. But funny story though about podcasting. Actually started by podcasting as well.
What?
Yeah, when I first got started, I would call this into the entertainment field. It was actually 3 years ago in the fall rather than here in December. I'd started a podcast with Larry Roberts. He was actually the founder of this specific podcast, and I was his co-host.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called Accidentally the Whole Tip.
I think I heard of that.
You heard of it?
Yeah, I heard of that name. I never heard the show, but I've always heard that name floating around or whatever.
Yeah, Accidentally the Whole Tip, and we did it. We did ours for a little. Well, he had his podcast for I want to say over a year. Now he has another one called Readily Random. Mm-hmm. You can find Readily Random. He's put out a book since then as well. It's been pretty cool stuff. But yeah, that's how I got my start in entertainment and in comedy. Did that for a while, and then I stepped down and just to focus on stand-up itself.
Okay. Did you feel like being a co-host on that podcast kind of was the prep work for you to make that full transition into comedy?
Yeah, because I think, at the time I was also playing with getting into radio. Mm-hmm. I've been told a lot that I have a radio voice, and I don't mind like talking and BSing. I mean, I think it's fun. Mm-hmm. But I think I knew deep down like there's something about actual stand-up comedy that I really like. I love the challenge of it, and honestly, I just like getting on stage and like trying to make people laugh. I love a live audience. I mean, there's nothing like it to me. And while podcasting is great, I can't hear how they're reacting to what we're saying.
Yeah,
it's not live. There's all these little factors in it that are so much different. But I do remember thinking, I want to get into radio or podcasting just to kind of get used to talking into a microphone and to get used to talking and be myself over something, kind of get the jitters out of the way before I really delved into comedy. So that's why I decided to start with a podcast. And it was great. And I know Larry. I mean, Larry's a good friend. I've known him for a long time. He's a good friend of my dad's. So he was wanting to start one anyway. I was like, hey, do you need a co-host? And it just kind of worked out. So,
yeah.
So that's how it started.
You talk about the jitters and everything. I just most recently went back and listened to my very first episode because me and my wife, we just started our own podcast. She came to me with the idea, and I was just like, what? Okay, let's do it. So
crazy, yeah.
I let her listen because she never heard it before. So I let her listen to my very first podcast, and she was just like, what the fuck is this?
Dude, it's night and day, isn't it? It's amazing how much. It's amazing how much can happen in even a short amount of time, mm-hmm. let alone 3 years.
Yeah, because I think I said podcast in that 42 minutes like 80,000 times. I was like, this is the podcast, and I'll be doing this podcast by myself in our podcast. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I do. It's so funny, man, because there's situations like that even in stand-up, man. You say something over and over again. You're like, why the hell do I keep saying that? They know what the hell I'm talking about. Or you'll just say things strangely that you wouldn't say in natural conversation. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's
very weird. But
has ever been an instance to where like you're setting up the joke, you deliver the punchline, and then you just have like the urge just to go back to kind of explain what you said, so you make sure people get it for sure.
It's funny you say that. I usually do that when I get no laughs because I know that it bombed. So then at that point, I find it funny to explain the joke that didn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like,
So I more so use it as a joke. But yeah, I do that.
that's like, I know I'm funny, motherfuckers. You gonna get this shit.
Right. Like if they don't laugh, I'll be like, because the baker didn't realize he was out of bread. Or something like that. And then they're just like, yeah, we got it. It just sucked. So for me, that's funny. It's like a joke for me. Sometimes you got to make yourself laugh while you're up there and screw everybody else.
Yeah, I get that. Now, like, with that being said, the first time bombing, I'm doing air quotes or whatever. What was that like for you? I mean, how did it affect you? Did it motivate you to do better, or did you kind of take it hard at first and then you eventually got over it?
Well, it definitely sucks.
Oh,
but, I would say I just remember thinking, I don't want that to happen again. So I guess it does make you better. I mean, I don't know, man. I think some people can bomb and it can definitely discourage them and make them quit. I just remember thinking I don't want that to happen again. Mm-hmm. But I just also realized that I just knew, like, well, everybody says that they bomb, so don't let that be the factor that makes you quit. You know what I mean? I kind of remember thinking that to myself. Now, what I didn't know, here's what people don't tell you. People talk about, people are going to say that you bomb, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, all the greats say that you're going to bomb. So just expect that. Someday that's going to happen. You're going to bomb really hard. Well, here's what they don't say. When they say you're going to bomb, they don't mean like one day. Mm-hmm. What they mean is you're going to bomb regularly. Like on a very frequent basis at open mics and things like that. You're going to hear a lot of silence. No one talks about that. They just make it seem like it's like this far off, once in a lifetime thing, which I'm sure there's different levels of bombing, but there's tons of times where you're at an open mic and it's full of comics and no one's laughing at anything the whole day. It's just comedians,
Yeah. That's
it's weird.
It's horrible. It gets like around the time that I started doing this podcast, I just really started getting over the fear of public speaking. It's just like I didn't have a problem talking to nobody or whatever, but if you gave me a format to present in front of people, I had an issue delivering. So I got over it because I was forced to. Because that's how the military works. So,
yeah, exactly.
So I had the bright idea of when I got to go to a different duty station. Well, I didn't get to go to a new duty station. I was told once again, you're going back to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, where it all began for you in your job field. So Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri is an Army base in freaking the middle of the armpit of Missouri. So,
oh man, fun.
Yeah, very fun. The only thing they have there is a Walmart. So there is where, when I first entered the Marine Corps, is where I went to train. So that's how I knew it was a shithole to begin with. So I had to go back there as a seasoned individual and I had to go teach. So now I had to go back to the place that I hated the most when I was there. And then I had to teach all these brand new Marines that's coming into the Marine Corps, that's learning this new job occupation and whatnot. And I have to teach them all the things that I know per the doctrine. So, I mean, I can tell you what I know. I have that many years of experience in this field. So I got the knowledge, but I have to teach you the knowledge the way they want me to teach you the knowledge. And I had a hard time doing that because not everything in the book is how it's actually going to go down, Well, yeah, no, I agree with you that 100%. I think that to me is sometimes even tougher because you're not speaking from, again, your personal experience or from your heart. You're speaking somebody else's words, and that is hard. So I could understand that'd be tough, I think, for anyone. And I think I found out how to game the system. I think all of us did. Once I got there and went through the paces and learned the ropes, I wound up teaching it the way I wanted to teach it, because you have to go through a course on the curriculum. So they teach you how to teach. So I had to go through all that, and that's what really started to break me out of that fear, you know, because it was, you know, much like comedy is, I get up in front of people and I do my reps. It's practice,
Right?
You know, I get the hang of it, and after you go through the courses and everything, you get your certification and whatnot. I mean, you street legal. I mean, you got your license. I mean. That's what it is. It's just like you're trying to get your license. So you do it by the book, you know, when you got the instructor in the room with you and whatnot. And
exactly.
then when that motherfucker leave and they give you the reins, I mean, I'm running red lights. I'm doing donuts. I'm doing all this crazy shit.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, once I got over those hurdles of the classes and, you know, being graded for, you know, teaching curriculum and everything, it became easier because I knew the material. I knew when and where I needed to emphasize what they had highlighted in the manual, but then I knew where I could fuck around at as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
You knew where you could kind of get away with something that was a little bit more your own voice. And I mean, that's probably what teachers go through constantly. You know, we just never think about it like that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what opened my eyes to it, because I mean, I was actually teaching. I mean, it's not like it is like school, because I mean, I got to teach them the stuff. They get little handouts and booklets to study. They have study groups and all kind of stuff. We got study hall if a motherfucker fail. So I was a teacher for like 2 years. And what I loved about it was not really teaching, but being able to talk to those young Marines that were coming through, you know, the beginning of their career. And I got
That's pretty cool.
I got to tell them a lot of things that I wasn't told, just like you were when you first started comedy.
Right.
So that's what I enjoyed about it most.
That is pretty cool. You know, it's funny because I'm sure there were times where you probably got a little frustrated with them.
You have no idea.
You know. Well, I can imagine. I mean, it's like that with new comics, you know.
Ooh, do tell.
Well, you know, these new comics, you know, they're just like, you know, first of all, they're always filled with hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to dash that shit right at the door.
You know what I mean? They're all filled with joy and fucking glee and shit. And I'm like, what are you smiling about? Like, why? You know, get up there and fucking bomb your ass off for 2 years. Don't get booked and get rejected a lot, and then you'll understand why I'm not so excited about talking to you right before your first open mic, you know? So this is my first time. I'm like, welcome. I don't know what to tell you.
Welcome to the Thunderdome, bitch.
Welcome to, yeah, this is it, man.
Did you have to give anybody the "This is Sparta" kick right off the gate?
No, man, because to be honest with you, there's enough comedians out there that are a little hard-faced, just stone-faced, you know what I mean? Like, that don't really like talking to you. So I always try to be as encouraging as possible, despite maybe how I'm feeling at the time. Because, you know, I don't want to discourage people. You know, it's hard enough already to you know, get over a fear that you might have or a self-doubt. Last thing you need is another asshole, you know, being like, yeah, it's hard, or it sucks, or don't do it, or it'd be discouraging in some way. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Cause I mean, I wouldn't want anybody to be that way to me. So, I mean, I get where you're coming from.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. The golden rule.
Yeah. So obviously doing comedy, you observe a lot of comedy. I mean, I'm not talking about like the quote unquote professionals of what you see on Netflix and, you know, these big stand up shows and everything, but like, on your level, you go into all these different venues and you going through your paces now. So I mean, you're gonna be seeing a lot of other comedians while you're waiting to, you know, get your shit in. So have you ever been around, you know, the same people more than once? Do you have like a core group of people that kind of like travel along the same roads that you've been traveling along?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. You definitely get to know your open mic core. Really what we call it is a scene, you know what I mean? Every city is kind of the scene, and by the scene they mean the people that are hitting open mics and trying to get booked on a local level. Now when I started in Dallas, that really got to become my family, you know, the Dallas comedy scene. I do consider my family. You know, you're grinding with these guys constantly, and you see each other get gigs and opportunities, and it's exciting. There's a small part of jealousy for every time they get a gig and you don't, but you know what I mean? I think, though, that's where the camaraderie comes through. It's like, you know, can you be happy for your brother or sister in comedy? And if you can, it builds really great relationships, I've found. You know, and I've realized, too, there's just no reason to get jealous of someone's opportunity, because it's nothing personal. It's just that's not what that person, you know, whoever was booking the show, they were looking for that person. That's why they booked them. They weren't looking for your type or style. You know, so there's no reason to take it personal. Now in New York, it's different. The scene out here is giant, as you can imagine. People are coming out here because it's, you know, it's comedy foundation, you know. So not only do you have the local scene, but you also have national headliners and stars out here that can pop in at any moment at badass clubs and boot everybody just to squeeze in and do, you know. So out here it's a totally different ball game as far as a tight group or community. Now, even out here, though, I have recognized a lot of guys at the open mics, and you can tell the ones that are working on it a lot versus the guy that comes in off the street like, hey, I think I want to try open mic comedy because he's had a couple beers, you know. So I'm still getting to know it.
Now, some of the ones that you frequent with or whatever, the ones that you see on a normal basis and whatnot, or that you have seen on a normal basis, have you ever got down their ticks or whatever? Because like that, what I just said just now, like, you know, when people talk, they say like a lot, or some people say or some people be like, you know what I'm saying? You know, they have their pet words. I mean, have you ever noticed that in people?
Yo, absolutely. Yeah, the ones you get to know the most, you actually get to know their material pretty well. You get to know their material. You get to know the way they think. But again, that's also rewarding, because again, it's very rewarding. It's almost like, again, it's like the best way I can describe it is like seeing your brother like grow, or your sister grow. You know, you're just like, oh man, oh, that's cool. You know, she's been working on that joke for months, and I just saw it kill tonight. You know, it's really neat when you get to see those moments. So it kind of makes everything worthwhile.
Now, I've seen, well, not seen, but like, I work in security here now. So, you know, we have our own little declarations that we say all the time. So, you know, somebody coming into the building, we say this. And then when they get to a certain section, we say this. And if something happens here in this section, we have to say this. So it's got to the point to where I work with the same group of people, you know, at my post. And there's this one individual. It gets on my nerves every fucking time, because I know he gonna do it every fucking time. Somebody will walk through the metal detector, and depending if it's a dude, he ain't gonna do it. But if it's a female, every time I want to walk through there, even if the motherfucker don't go off, he'll make the noise. He'll go, no, I'm just kidding. I was like, motherfucker, just stop, please. It's fucking annoying as shit. And then we get a lot of people that come in there to speak Spanish or whatever. So if they come in with steel-toe boots or high heels, I mean, it's automatically going to set the metal detector off. So we tell them to put it on the conveyor belt beforehand. So a female come up in there. I think that's his thing. The females, he fucking with them. They had to take their boots off or heels or whatever. He'd be like, without a piece of frio. Ooh. You know, and he say it every fucking time. And I'm like, dog, just stop. Just do your fucking job. Just let's get this shit over with.
Yeah, he's trying to make the most of his security day, I guess. I don't know, man. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, I know, man, but it's like, to other people that just coming in here to do their business and get on, that's funny to them. But to the motherfucker that's there 12 hours a day with this dude hearing the same shit over and over again, you know, I'm done.
Right, it's like, oh, yeah, God bless. Well, it's always the younger ones, I guess, huh?
No, he's the older one. I'm the youngest one on the post. Oh,
he's the older one. Oh, damn. So he's really giving up.
Yeah, it's just like he's stuck in his ways. That's why he keep doing it.
That's fucking funny.
No, it's
so how long did you retire military, or how long did you serve?
16 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was
incredible.
I was able to retire, so I'm happy about that. Man,
that's really cool. Man, so what was your job in the military, or in the Marines?
transportation. I picked up stuff and I drove it to other places so they can pick it up and put it down.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Any neat vehicles you got to drive?
Oh yeah, I got to drove just about. Got to drove here. I am southern as fuck. I got to drive a whole bunch of things. My favorite was the what we call the 7-ton. It's like not so much 18-wheeler, but it's right along that edge of it or whatever. It's not that big, but it's a decent size. And I love to drive that thing. It got freaking all-wheel drive. You go mudding in that thing and climbing mountains and all kind of crazy junk.
Very cool.
I slept in them. That was my house for a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then we would go on field ops and we have like big pallets of MREs and everything, and I would like sleep on them, and then I would get mad because people had to come get the MREs to eat, and I was like, oh man, you fucking up my bed, baby.
Yeah, right.
But
any tours or anything?
Oh, 4. 3 Iraq, 1 Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was all right. It was cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's something else. No, man, that's something. I mean, that's definitely a lifestyle. I mean, in 6 years, man, that's really something. And so, congrats on the retirement. That's really cool.
I appreciate it. What you wind up finding is, I wouldn't say you get used to it, but there is like a era of familiarity or whatever, or you get somewhat comfortable when you do it enough. But I remember after 9/11 happened, shit, fuck that couch. I was like straight up, I was like, oh, I didn't sign up for this, baby. I was stereotypical as fuck. I was like, I didn't sign up for this.
Right.
I might die. Here, you woman, come here, bear my child real quick, because I might not make it back. I want to carry on the bloodline.
Man, that's what you got to do, man. It's shit. Nothing, no cupping season like hunting season, I'll tell you.
As far as, getting around, doing your comedy and everything, I mean, what does that leave you in the way of relationships or whatever? I mean, do you find yourself, bringing that into your stand-up, or bouncing ideas off of other people and whatnot?
Well, you mean bouncing my ideas off of people like for you mean joke writing purposes, or being in a relationship as a comedian?
All of the above. Like, say you got a young, nice lady thing and whatnot, and or you just your core group of people that you travel around with. Do you being a comedian to me?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like it's just like it's always trying to find material that comes up naturally around you to bring into your act. Because like here,
right,
with the wife or whatever, I'm always clowning around and cracking jokes with her and everything, and then I agree. I definitely agree. So, I was single for I'd say most of my comedy career, but I actually have a girlfriend now who actually still lives in Dallas. We got the long distance thing going on, so obviously that comes with its own territory. But she's also a comic, so we definitely bounce ideas off each other and inspire thoughts or whatever it may be. So that's always nice. And then as far as using relationship material in my stand-up, it's just kind of different because I agree with you. I think some things should come natural, like for stand-up or inspiration. But sometimes I'm just like high in the shower and I just have a weird fucking thought and I make that into a joke. You know what I mean? So like my jokes are I feel like sometimes I feel like there's not even like a common theme through any of my stuff. If that makes any sense. Yeah, it's just like it just comes and it goes and whatnot. It's just like one here you're talking about cats, and then now you're talking about tacos and shit. So it just happens the way it happens.
Yeah, it could be like it's like I tell a one-liner, and then now I want to tell you a story, and then the next one I want to make an observational joke, and then the next one I want to do a really filthy joke about sex or something. You know what I mean? Like they're all like they're sporadic
Yeah, it's just like, because I've seen some comics, they'll have like throughout the whole set, it'll be an overarching theme or just like a story that's told over the whole set and whatnot in various ways. But like,
Right.
having a relationship with another comedian, how deep do y'all go? I mean, I know you bounce ideas off each other, but like, there's gonna be the dozens played at some point, I imagine. So I mean,
You mean how deep do we go into like helping each other or like roasting each other or what?
roasting each other. That's what I'm looking
Oh,
for.
gotcha. As roasting, okay. You know, I mean, we can roast each other very well, but we don't really do it too often. But we're both good at, doing it funny. So that's always nice. However, I did have a roast back in, I think, July. And, of course, she got up there and roasted me and killed it. Of course, I don't remember most of it, but I was drunk. But she's a hilarious comedian.
You was toasted at the roast.
Yeah, I was toasted at the roast. I mean, it was actually my roast. So I had multiple people buying me drinks, which was nice, don't get me wrong. And it was just, it was a whole night. Mm-hmm. And she went up like close to last. And by that point, I think if I hadn't reached blackout, I was getting to blackout. So it was still maybe a fuzzy area. It was like a gray out area. You know what I mean? I was grayed out.
Daggone, how did that come about? Was it a part of you moving on to New York, or was it just cuz?
Yeah, oh yeah, the roast. Yeah, it was definitely like kind of like a send off thing. Like people were like, like you should do something to like a party or something. Parties kind of feel weird. So I was like, not weird, but they're fun and all. But as a comedian and with so many comedy friends, that made in it, I was like, I felt better to do it like a roast, like a comedy show more so. Like comics, their night feels more fulfilled when you get some stage time, because that's what we're all out here doing. So I was like, well, let's just party and do a roast, it'd be fun. And I actually ran a room, an open mic in Louisville. I started that like 2 months into starting comedy 3 years ago, and that mic's still running. And I decided to do the roast there on a Monday night. Now, Hat Tricks is in Louisville. It's a bar. It's very much known for not being a good open mic. It's very difficult. People aren't paying attention to you. There's a lot of distractions. TVs are on. It's everybody there is if they didn't vote for Trump, they don't mind him. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a tough room. And, but it's a great place for some weird reason. Like, it's a fun place. So people would come, and it became a really big, kind of open mic. And, so we decided to do it there on a Monday night. We made it black tie, everybody dressed up really nice because it's such a shitty bar. We thought it'd be kind of tacky.
Yeah.
And, it was a blast. We had so much fun. I mean, that night it was unreal. I still think about it. Of course, I think about the times I remember. There's a certain point where I stopped remembering, and I can't think about those things.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I would like to, because I assume they continued to be fun, other than me looking stupid.
Now I went back and I was looking through your account and everything. You get what goes into the thought for your promotional material? Because you're sitting here, you got your stomach out, freaking your boxer shorts, you got your high socks and everything. Yeah, that was a good one. That was for our show I had at Arlington Improv. That was in May. That was a good one. So, the reason why I know is, I put those on my tickets. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. I put that one on my, yeah. Well, I'm a tall, skinny guy. Yes.
And, lanky, goofy, and not a good body. I'm not skinny like fit. I'm skinny like I just happen to be skinny, but but like stoner skinny, you know what I mean? Which isn't good. It's a gut, and it's not toned anywhere. It's scrawny legs. And I was like, me in underwear and socks would be good photo op. So I decided I got a great photographer, professionally done in a studio and green room. His name is John Marcus. A very, very good guy out of Dallas, photographer and comedian, hilarious dude. So look him up. And he takes the pictures, and I was like, it'd be great to put these on tickets. And so another friend of mine, William Cinemo, helped me put that photo on tickets, to kind of go vertically. And the only reason why I decided to use that is just because I think it's funny. And like, if I'm trying to get people to buy these tickets to come to the show, I feel like they would want the ticket itself to show somebody. Hey, look at this ticket. Isn't that hilarious? So that's kind of my thought process. Like, I just like, again, it's just because it's funny. No one has fun with their tickets. No one, how come you don't have a funny ticket when you buy it? Something that just looks fun.
Yeah. Now
people buy bumper stickers and it's just paper.
This is true. You had a video on your account that I had to ask you about. Is you're in New York, and there's these two people. I don't know what the hell they was on, but they just passed the fuck out on the subway.
Oh my God! Yes.
What the fuck happened, man? Did you just come upon this?
Well, I'm literally on my way home. I'm in the subway, and I get on. And when you enter in the subway, you don't really. If people are around, you just kind of, you're like, all right, it's a safe area. So I just walked straight through. I sat down. As I turn around to sit, I look across from me, and those two people were just straight up passed out on the sub cart. And they're obviously interesting looking, as you can tell.
Yes.
And they got like a stroller, not with a baby in it. Just because they were both passed out. But you just see shit like that constantly, like in New York, and it was just wild. It just tripped me out. Yeah. So. Made that video, but that's just like constant out here. I think I was only here. That happened within the first month I was here.
So what has been like the whole 4 months that you've been there? I mean, what's some of the craziest shit you've seen?
Well, I'll put it this way. I stopped filming people passed out on the subway because I would have to do it like every subway ride.
Yeah, you're eating up my battery life. Do something different.
Yeah, what the hell? But I've seen a lot of different other stuff. I just recently saw my first platform rat. So usually I see tons of rats, on the streets, digging into garbage, down on the tracks. But usually you're up on the platform waiting for the train, And I saw my first rat on the platform the other day, and that tripped me out. Yeah. That was unusual.
I seen, cause I work downtown sometimes in Houston, and, one of the bigger buildings, the Mickey Leland building downtown, I was out there doing a patrol, and this fucking big ass cat ran across the sidewalk into the bushes. But upon further inspection, it wasn't a motherfucking cat. It was a goddamn rat. Yeah, I ain't never seen a rat like that big in my whole goddamn life.
Yeah, the rats out here are giant. They're like squirrel size. They're like Texas squirrels.
And those
that's like the size of the rats that are out here.
And also, you talk about the subway or whatever. You did a little bit up on the train too, huh?
Yeah, I did. I don't know. It tripped me out. The longer I get up here and ride these subways, I'm like looking at this crowd. I'm like, man, this is the hardest crowd in the world. If you just started doing it on the subway. And hard crowds appeal to me because, I think it's good for the challenge, and it's good to kind of eat shit because it hurts really bad. And, misery loves company. So I was like, I want to try it out. Did it one night, and my friend Stacy, the Chalk of the Chalknilla, I was like, hey, man, film this real quick, just, for shits and giggles. And I got like 2 chuckles, but that was about it. And it was, for the rest of it, it was dead awful. People just staring at me with blank faces.
Yeah, I mean, you probably dealing with a crowd that was coming home from work or going to work or whatever they did. They 8 to 12 hours a day, and it's like, I ain't really feeling this right now. I mean, I'm laughing internally, which doesn't really do anything for you, but yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
You bring up the Chalknilla. I mean, how did that relationship become a thing? I mean, it's not like I haven't heard the story before. I don't have any audio evidence to support this. So
that's a good point. That's good. Yeah, I could basically just steal Stacy's interview. You just ask me all the questions you ask Stacy, and I'll just say the same thing. So this is how Stacy and I met. Stacy is a guy, by the way, if anybody's watching. I don't know why I have felt to specify. Oh, yes, I do, because Stacy's a chick name.
Yeah. Well, this is more manly because it doesn't have an E in it.
Exactly. Oh, that's what he claims.
Yeah.
So, now I should specify too. One thing I mentioned earlier, though, I have a girlfriend. She's a comedian. Her name's Lauren Riley, by the way. Also hilarious. Check her out, Lauren Riley. But Stacy is a dude who, yes, is a co-founder of Chalknilla. And we met at an open mic I was running in Dallas a couple years ago. I had the hat tricks on Monday night up in Louisville, like I told you about earlier. But for about 4 or 5 months, I ran an open mic at this place called Strokers Ice House in Dallas. Big motorcycle distributor as well. It was this huge spot, and they would have tons of like biker events and rallies and stuff like that, and music and things of that nature. A lot of bands that would come through. And we did a Tuesday open mic there, and that's where I met Stacy. And then he came to Hat Tricks as well. So he came to a couple of my open mics I did, and we met one night, and we started talking about doing videos. And Stacy expressed he wanted to do like some racial-based comedy. And I always liked racial-based comedy as well. And of course, now, and to be honest, a lot of white guys like racial-based comedy, but it's rare you find a black guy willing to do it. Stacy came up with me with the idea. I was like, "Oh hell yeah, let's do it!"
I found my end.
All about it. Yeah, exactly. I was like, "Fuck yes, it's about time." You're like just a godsend, So we met, we hung out, but this is how I knew I really liked Stacy. I don't know if Stacy did he tell you about the time that this is basic. Did he tell you about the time he bombed at my open mic? Super bad.
Oh no! Well, of course he didn't tell me that.
Man, I was hoping he would, because that's the best story. This is how I knew I was gonna fuck with Stacy. I could almost say, I'm gonna get razz him here a little bit. Mm-hmm. I could almost say that Stacy's responsible for why that open mic didn't continue. All right, so this is why. So this is a biker bar, right? Mm-hmm. One of the tables right in front of you, there was no stage. You're just on the same floor as everybody else. Okay, everybody else could be just at like little benches, like they almost look like picnic tables, like you know what I mean. It's indoor. There's like a pool table and like old ass motherfuckers. They're all again another conservative place, like
yes.
And like the table has like a Confederate flag on it, right? But again, comics will do anything for some stage time. They find out there's an open mic, whatever, they'll go do it. And so, on this night, they happened to have the Banditos biker gang in the house. They were celebrating someone's birthday. If you don't know the Banditos are responsible for that, or they were involved, I should say, not responsible, they were involved, with the Waco shooting.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember that Waco shooting at Twin Peaks?
Yes.
That little like Twin Peaks fight, and there was like a shooting. Well, Banditos were in that fight. Okay, I don't know the details of who was responsible. I'm just saying they were both in that. They were in that fight. All right, they were there that night, and they were like, "Hey, just to let you know, like the Banditos are here, so it's a busy night." And it was. I mean, there was like 60 or 80 of these guys, all like matching like leather biker vests and whatnot. And now it's a mixed gang. Like there's black, white, Mexican, all sorts of guys. It's nothing like all white or all black or anything like that. But they were like, you can talk about anything you want, be crass and stuff. They go, just don't bring up the Waco thing. And the guy was telling me that. They're like, don't bring up the Waco thing. So I told everybody. I told every comedian. I was like, don't say anything about the Waco incident. Don't say anything about the Waco incident. They was like, all right, cool. And then Stacey comes in, and I was like, I don't need to tell Stacey.
Oh, no.
Why would Stacey know about that? You know what I mean? Like, we only knew each other for like a month or two, maybe, not even. And I didn't say anything. Stacey gets up there, and they're about to celebrate something, and they're telling Stacey to be quiet because they're about to sing Happy Birthday. Like, they're interrupting Stacey on stage, right? The comedian's on stage, and they're like, hey, shut up. We're trying to sing Happy Birthday. It's like, what the fuck? So Stacey's like, he's like, okay, fine, I'll shut up. I don't want another Waco incident.
Oh.
Bro, I was like, you got to be shitting me. And I look over at those motherfuckers, and they're all like, no, hey, no, that's not fucking cool. Like, they are not happy about that shit because they, like, lost a couple guys in that shooting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck. And Stacey just stopped. He just, like, froze, and it was really uncomfortable. And he was like, sorry. And then he just, like, stopped doing his set. He just didn't do any more comedy, and he just sat there, and we all listened to the Banditos sing Happy Birthday to their fucking friend. And it was just like, what the fuck do we do now? Do we like? We just waited, and so finally it ended, and I went up to Stacey at this point, got on stage with them, and just kind of waited out, and I was like bullshitting with them. I was like, man, I'm sorry about this, man, this sucks. And he was like, yeah, it's cool. And I was like, well, it looks like they're about wrapped up. I go, do you want 2 more minutes? I go, you were only up there for like 2.5 minutes. I go, you can do some more if you want. Iggy's like, nah, I think I'm just going to call it. You know, and right then I was like, I fuck with this guy because he took it. That's the roughest I've seen it as far as the comedian's concerned. That was the roughest I couldn't imagine doing that myself. In fact, I'm glad I haven't had that experience like Stacey did.
Yeah. I would have just been like, after he said what he said, I'd just been like, all right, I've been Stacey Cordell, and good night, y'all. And I just left.
Yeah, seriously, because it was very uncomfortable. So after that, comedians that were there saw that happen, and let's just say the attendance started dropping next few Tuesdays. So then we didn't do that mic after a while. But there was honestly not a lot of people that would even come to it either. But not all places I would say are suited for comedy, and that felt like one of them. It's a great place. Strokers is huge. I mean, they do their own thing, but the comedy just didn't really work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't ask you in the beginning of the interview or whatever, but like, as far as comedy goes, I mean, who are some of your bigger influences and whatnot?
I would say influences. I mean, as a kid, I grew up on Jim Carrey a lot. I love Jim Carrey movies. I aspired to be him as a comedic actor. Same with Will Ferrell, even comedic acting wise. They're just brilliant, I think. When I started getting into stand-up comedy, you know, I'm a 90s kid, got into comedy in the early 2000s, and as a preteen, or a teen, I should say, love Dave Chappelle. He was huge. He was huge my freshman year. I mean, when Dave Chappelle's show was out, and he released Killing Him Softly or Killing Me Softly, and damn it, the other special, I can't remember it right now.
For What It's Worth.
Yes, For What It's Worth. That's right. Those two specials and Dave Chappelle's show. I mean, I was in the process of falling in love with comedy, and then all that came out, and I was like, man, this is something else. Brian Regan is another stand-up comedy or comedian that I absolutely adore. I think Brian Regan, like I envy so much, you know, just as a performer. And same with Norm Macdonald. His writing, Norm Macdonald, I think, is a genius. So yeah, those three guys I think are the best, really.
Have you ever seen that movie with Norm Macdonald and Dave Chappelle, Danny DeVito, called Screwed?
No. Screwed?
Yeah, it came out in I think like 96 or something. I'm just pulling this out of my ass right now. I'm gonna fact check it real quick because I have the power of the internet.
Screwed, man.
Yes.
I'm really searching, but no, I don't think I've even heard of that.
Yeah, here you go. It came out in 2000. Norm Macdonald, Dave Chappelle. It had Danny DeVito, freaking Sherman Hemsley, Sarah Silverman. It had quite the cast in there.
No, wait. Crazy.
Yeah.
I gotta look this up too. I can't believe that. No, I don't think I've seen it though, but
yeah.
I'm gonna have to. Oh yeah, I'm looking it up now. That's insane. This doesn't even look familiar.
Yeah, I mean, I've only found it because I love Dave Chappelle as well. And then it's funny that you bring his name up because, like, when I go through some of y'all skits and everything, I mean, you do some of, like, his mannerisms or whatever, like how he say, oh, shit, and, and stuff like that. So I was just like, he likes Dave Chappelle. I can tell because I do some of the same shit he do.
Well, it's amazing how comedians can influence your style because, there was a joke I did one time, and it's a very dry joke, and it's a long setup and story. And I got off stage, and someone goes, that joke kind of reminded me of Norm Macdonald. And I kind of like adopted him in that aspect. And I've also got really goofy and animated sets, which is probably why Brian Regan and Jim Carrey are an influence of mine because they're both very animated. If you ever watch Brian Regan, his face, man, is hilarious. He's just funny as fuck to look at. But it's weird how comedians can influence like your material. And I've heard that that's one of the earlier stages of being a comedian because, eventually you want to grow out of that. So anytime people tell me that joke reminds me of this comic, I'm always like, all right, that means I still have a lot of growing to do because, you eventually want to find your voice.
Yeah.
Not adapt someone else's or adopt someone else's, I should say.
Yeah, I totally agree because like I feel like the earlier iterations of this podcast, it was kind of the same to where I listened to so many other different podcasts and other different shows and everything that I tried to kind of emulate that, but then after a while, just like, why am I doing something that I can just listen to? It was just like, this isn't mine. I need to make it mine,
Right.
But yeah, I'm going to tell you how I came upon the both of you and Stacy. And I told Stacy this already.
Yeah, please do. Cause, cause I know you've, I thought we were following each other, but I feel like we've been following each other for a while, but I just followed you back today for some reason. I wasn't following you. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I know I was at one point, so I don't know. Maybe I went through it at some point and cleaned it up. I don't know. But
you just didn't like
I know that
much.
we've been. It's been following for a while.
So I come across you two, and I come across both of you as a pair. So that's how I found the both of you. But same thing I told Stacy. The first thing I noticed about the Chalk Miller thing or whatever was the name, but that damn logo, the white hand and the black hand, intertwining fingers holding the microphone or whatever. I was like, okay.
Oh, you're talking about the A1 Day One logo.
Yeah. So that's what drew me to y'all. I was like, what the fuck is that thing? Because I was looking at it because it was in the corner somewhere, or it popped up at the beginning of a video or some shit like that. Because I seen this thing and I was like, what the fuck is that? And I'm trying to get in close on it because I don't think at the time Instagram had the thing where you could pinch and zoom and shit. So I'm studying this thing. I was like, what the fuck is that thing? What is it? It looked like hands. Then I see it and I was like, why?
Why? Yeah, man, that's some funny shit.
And then, I start seeing some of the black privilege and white privilege videos and everything, the super homie and, I think the funniest one, and I think Stacy agreed to it as well, when you was talking about change.
Yeah, the change, that was a good one. We got to work with a lot of cool people in that video too.
Oh man. But the A1 Day One logo, as you dub it or whatever, I mean, Stacey gave me his take on it or whatever, but what was you thinking when y'all came together and be like, all right, this is our shit. This is our logo.
Well, you know what's weird? I'm trying to think like how that part even came up specifically. The conversation I can't remember. However, what is funny about it is I remember Stacy and I were we brainstormed names and logos relentlessly. I mean, it took quite a few sessions of us getting together and thinking about it and hashing it out. And I think you reach a point of delirium where you're like, where you hear a really bad idea, and for some reason to both of you it sounds great because you're tired of thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I guess I can't remember how it goes down, but it was probably something like, how about two hands intertwined, locked, showing unity. One's black, one's white, wrapped around the microphone. But neither one of us were like, could be a little gay. We were both just like, yeah, badass. Let's draw it up.
Who commissioned it?
I mean, yeah. I know I found the illustrator who did a great job, and I wish he would have been like, "Are you sure?" But he didn't. So.
When did y'all decide it was time for a change? Because like I'm at the bottom of the page. I see Stacy repping the shirt. I see you got one of the shirts on and everything. I'm going up, and boom! All of a sudden, it just changed.
I think. Well, I remember when I'll put it this way: when we decided it was time for a logo change, it was like all in unison. We all were like, "Yep." You know what I mean? It wasn't even like anybody who was like trying to hold on to the old one. We were all just like, yeah, absolutely. So we got another one, and we kind of got our inspiration from emojis. Yeah, because emojis, they've got the fist facing every which way, and the fingers and all that. And on text we would do that. Like we had a little group message, ourselves, our cameraman, me and Stacy, all that good stuff, right? Yeah. And so we would do that every now and then, and just kind of put the emojis, like one black fist, one white fist, bumping each other. We're like, man, that should be the logo. Like that makes sense. That shows more of a solidarity rather than what could be confused as a relationship. It's fucking funny to think about, man. Like,
I could just imagine, y'all vegged out on the couch, just like watching TV or whatever, or just like coming down from a long day or whatever, and be like, "You want to change the logo?" Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking it's a logo switch time. Yeah, same here. That was like priority one. Well, now we did have somebody. Okay, so I was telling you about Larry Roberts. I did that podcast with him. Yeah, actually, the whole tip. He had us on accidentally the whole tip towards the end of that chapter podcast, and he brought us on, and he did mention how the logo looked a little bit gay, and that may have been the first time we kind of thought about it like that, like.
You'd be like, nah, man, this is unity. This is my brother, man. Yeah. Yeah.
No, man, you don't interlock fingers with your homie? He's like, come on, man, it's your BFF.
He's like, actually, no, I don't.
Right. But yeah, so it was definitely due for a change. The new logo was great. I mean, again, that's what's so great about having a team and being able to revise things, man. You can always working on your crafts. It just shows working on your crafts is great. Even with the logo changing something, I think throughout is good. I've been actually been toying with the idea of going by my real name instead of losing Gravy, but I don't know. Yeah.
Man, I mean, didn't nobody be like, oh, man, it's Gravy, baby? They can't do that no more.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a reason why I've been thinking about it, because it's not an easy decision. People do like Gravy a lot. So, it's hard. I think it's hard for me because, deep down, it's like I wish, I don't know. Like, I guess I'm not it's not like I'm not proud of my name. You know, I'm proud of my last name.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I just kind of started going by Gravy because people couldn't pronounce my last name right, which is Gravitt. And I was like, well, I want people to not stumble over my name when they're bringing me up at these open mics.
Yeah.
So I changed it by nickname I was given as a kid. But yeah, I mean, people like Gravy a lot, and I like it too. Don't get me wrong, it's fun.
And then you just be like, yeah, you can just pull me on you, baby, and just let me.
Yeah, and then give them that gravy.
Yeah, you get this gravy, baby. See, I mean, it's just fun to say.
It is. No, I think it's fun. You know, some people disagree with having stage names and things of that nature, but honestly, I just like making people laugh, whether it's, again, putting my dumbass body on a ticket or having a fun name. You know what I mean? I just like having fun, man. Like, whether it's coming to a show or just fucking around, whatever it may be, there's so many ways I think you can have fun. I think people forget about it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we all got kind of girl-esque names, especially mine. I mean, you got Stacy, you got Jamie, and my first name is Shannon. So, I mean.
Oh, yeah. Yours, luckily you got Shannon Sharp, which is,
yeah.
You know, if you're a football fan, you know, so that's.
And was extra weird about it is just like, I would meet, you know, obviously more girls than I would do guys with the same name, you know, and I would run into a female with my name every now and then. Or even when I do get a telemarketer call and I'm like, who is this? And they'd be like, Shannon. I was like, hey, that's my name too. Bye. Click. And, but only 3 times in my life have I actually met a guy with my name as well.
Really? 3 times?
Only 3 times. I went to school with one. And then I just met 2 others randomly in the wild, and that was it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I can't tell you how many exactly, but it's very low. Like, it's definitely in the single digits of people I've met that are guys, Jamies. You know what I mean? So it's weird. It's not as popular these days, I guess, than maybe it was or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's gonna be like kids, like, you know, 50 years from now, they're named like, you know, Caden. There's so many Cadens. You know, I don't know. I feel like that's a new name.
Do you know how weird it's going to be? Like how you said in 50 years to when Daquan is going to be like a normal name somewhere.
For like an elder, it's like it's like an old head. You know what I mean? It's just like, hey, how you doing? Oh, respecting. That's my grandfather, Daquan.
Just imagine that shit. I mean, because like they got girls with some horrible names just floating around there right now. It's like,
oh my dude, yes.
Girls with, like, they had the one girl that was on the news. It was a video way back. I forget. It was a couple years ago. Her name was Erica, and it was spelled like air wreck.
Oh my God, yes, I saw that shit.
I was like, what? What?
Yes, man, that's hilarious.
So, I mean, yeah, we're going to have Grandpa Daquan running around here. We're going to have
Erica.
Yeah. Uncle Future. You know, they got a lot of the famous people naming their kids like King and shit. So, Uncle King.
Right. Yeah. Or Northwest. Whatever the hell.
Yeah. Auntie West. Well, that ain't too bad.
Well, there was a Seinfeld episode where I don't know if you ever watched it, but George, he talked about naming his kid Soda. He's like, you want a good name? Name your kid Soda. No one has that name.
What?
Yeah, can you imagine a motherfucker named Soda?
I don't know, man. It's just I'm pretty sure if we sat here and we just pulled up some shit on the internet or something, we could find a motherfucker with some fucked up names that's gonna be even more fucked up when they come of age to be like grandparents and shit.
Yeah.
What? How do you think the DMV people feel when they come in there and these people try to get licenses and IDs and shit, and they're like, how do you spell that?
Yeah, you're gonna have to spell it. Man, that's a good point. I don't know how to spell anybody's name anymore.
Yeah, that's why I asked you when we first got on. I was like, and then you know what? I'm gonna reveal some behind the scenes stuff for the Random Rounds with Rob. So like when I'm not sure about somebody's name, you know, it's like even if I'm sure of it, you can probably tell when I did the intro. I was like, yeah, la 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 la. I had all this big grandiose, you know, pomp and circumstance, and I was like, Jamie Gravy, because I was making sure that I was saying it right. I was like, I didn't want to be all loud, like Jamie Gravy. He's like, that's not my name. I'm like, fuck. All right, yeah.
No, man, you're good. But yeah, that's just how it is now. Like, it's just so hard to tell, like how to say or even spell people's names. You know, I mean,
like I had a director.
Even gravy, bro. Even gravy. People are like, hey, is that gravy like the food? Like they're even unsure. Like surely that's not. You're not saying biscuits and gravy, right? Like, I'm like, no, I am. They're like, oh, okay.
It's grava.
Yeah, gravy. I don't know what they're thinking.
I had a dude on here the other day that I recorded with. His name is Saquon. So when you look at it on paper, it looked like Shaquan. So I was like, Shaquan is your name? He's like, nah, it's Saquon. I was like, all right, my bad.
Yeah, how we would get upset about it. Like, motherfucker, how? I've never seen this.
That's there's a S, a emoji, and a U and an N.
Yeah, the emojis are, I swear, wild. One day emojis are going to be in a fucking name on a birth certificate.
I believe it. There's already motherfuckers spelling black with a V and a 6 and shit, so I don't understand how that works.
Yeah.
But what I like to ask everybody that's striving to make their way in their chosen field of entertainment or their chosen profession or whatnot, where do they see themselves in the next 2 to 5 years, or where would you like to be in your craft in the next 2 to 5 years?
Next 2 to 5 years, man. Where I see myself is being in entertainment full time. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily saying that I'm nationally known or anything like that, but I'm definitely doing entertainment full time, whether that's writing, doing acting gigs, as well as doing stand up, combination of all those three. Basically, I'm not waiting tables. And I'm being able to support myself through gigs. That's kind of where I see myself in 2 to 5 years. And probably still in New York. I don't have plans or immediate plans to move back to Dallas anytime soon. So it is what it is. Speak of the devil, Stacy just walked in. The roommate, the Chocknilla.
I mean, who is that? I mean, I have no recollection of who this person is.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of where I see myself.
Word. So if there's anything you can do, because like we spoke about this earlier on, how I had the opportunity to guide some of these young Marines and everything early on in their career. If there happen to be any aspiring comedians or screenwriters or whoever may be listening to us right now, I mean, what's your word of advice? I mean, that you would give to them?
Oh man, that's funny. No, this is kind of cool because there's I mean, I still feel like I'm new as well. I mean, again, I'm only 3 years into it, really. But in the 3 years, I would say what I've learned the most is you're going to go through changes as a comedian, so don't let that discourage you. Yeah,
you're going to get hair in funny places, and your voice is going to change.
Yeah, your voice does change. Like you don't even really know who you are as a comedian. I would say in the first couple of years, even 3 years, even it's because you're going to want to try a lot of different things, and that's okay. So I would just say keep going. Literally, just keep going. It's easy to I think get bogged down with I need to write more, but that's very important. But it's also important to have fun because like your everyday life is where comedic inspiration comes from. So make sure to live as well as work.
Yeah, I got it. Words to live by. I appreciate you sharing that with everybody. And this is where we're going to wind it down, man. But before you go, let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
Well, cool. All right. This has definitely been fun, man. Thanks for having me. It's been really neat.
I appreciate you.
No problem. You guys can follow me at on Instagram. It's at Jamie_Gravy. You can also check out my website, www.jamiegravy.com. And by the way, Jamie is spelled Jamie, not Jaime, Jaime, but that's Jaime. Yeah, if I was a little south of the U.S. border, it could be. And don't get me wrong, a lot of my Mexican friends like to call me Jaime. But it is actually Jamie, Jamie, Gravy.com. YouTube, Jamie Gravy on my YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. And add me on Facebook, Jamie Gravy.
For sure. All right, man. It's just like anybody that's been on the show before. The door is always open for you to come back and, promote the next thing you got going on, or just come shoot shit, man.
Cool. Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun, man. It was good talking with you, Shannon.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, man.
And that was Jamie Gravy, everybody. He's had a long 3-year career. It seems like he has a very bright future. It's funny that he's only been doing comedy for 3 years, and he's been around as long as the Random Ramblings with Rob podcast. I look forward to everything he has coming up. And I want you all to follow him on Instagram at Jamie_Gravy. So that's it for this week. And I look forward for more things coming soon. Go to randomrobcast.com and find different ways to support the show. You can follow me on Twitter at itsbrob. That's ITSBROB. If you want to talk professional wrestling and any other general shenanigans, that's the place you do it. The show also has a Twitter account at 3RShow. And make sure you follow me on Instagram, to where I walk the House Cars of Walmart. And that's my favorite store in the whole wide world. And look for more episodes at Wrestling is Trash. Hey, no it's not. Yeah. And you can find that at wrestlingistrash.com. Seriously, it's not. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.